stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
All right. Hello. Well, afternoon. Education. The more you know about this stuff, the better you'll be able to work with it. The more you'll be able to do, the more you understand about what is going on with you and your family and the things that have done will help you better understand what we need to do. All right. Chris, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. I love you, brother. I don't think she can make it. She's picking up kids. I'll try Amber. She's probably delivering pizzas. So we'll see. I'm going to be talking about the family dynamic. This will be a little bit more educational. I'm trying to move into more of a, professional. Actually, I'm quite professional, but I do a lot of swearing and stuff here. But, it's also mine, so I can do what it is that I want within reason. Can't get too crazy or nobody's really going to want to watch. Right. I learned this back when I was 14 years old, and it's still the same. It doesn't see these things don't change. Even 3,000 years ago, the Greeks and the Romans were not any smarter. We're not. We have things upon. See, humans are very inventive. We're very inventive. So, thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. I wonder, I know I could be a little overbearing. I know I could be intense. And I'm finding out it's just who I am, But when my passion comes across as anger, then it's hard for people to accept me for who I am. But is it my fault that they're misunderstanding? That's the one thing I dislike is being misunderstood. I don't know how many times I have to explain to people what I do. They don't get it. You don't need to get it. I don't even get it. That's up to God. All right, we hit the 3-minute mark. Let's do some introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Okay. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. So in my family growing up, it's weird because we have the exact right people, the exact amount of people that they describe. And every single one of me and my brothers and sisters fit this role to a T. To a T, man. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Ooh, we're sharing screens now. Told you I'm trying to do a little more professional stuff. All right. Understanding the dynamics of a dysfunctional family. They don't really. So you have the parental figures there, right? The one on the left is the alcoholic. The one on the right is the codependent. Okay. Which it's supposed to be. They named the rest of them right, but sometimes they change these things so that they can throw their own stupid bullshit in there. Okay. All right. So the parental figures. We have the alcoholic who is chemically dependent, inside shame, guilt, fear, pain, hurt, outside hostility, manipulation, blaming, charming, rigid values, aggression, and self-pity. Okay, now that would have been my mom. Okay. And I know that she went through some of this because number one, she told me, and I watched it. I was there. So I watched it. I noticed there was one thing I noticed before my mom even sobered up when I was pretty young. I noticed that when it came to drinking, mom wanted to be alone. And I always saw other people drinking with other people. So I wasn't too sure. This is kind of hard for me um, um, because I can't see you guys. So I got to come back every now and again. Hey Ingrid, glad you made it. I didn't know that you were going to be able to make it. So good to have you. All right, let's go back to the screen share. It's just I'll get used to it. All right. So we have these parental figures, right? So the mom in this case is going to be the codependent. In my world, my father, the man that raised me, was the codependent, and he is a codependent to this day. When my mom got sobered up, they were getting pretty close to breaking up anyway, and I knew this. And growing up, I always looked at those two, and I would think, why the fuck are they together? I would seriously feel that way. I would. So what's going on inside with the codependent inside? Anger, hurt, guilt, low self-esteem outside, self-righteous, super responsible. Oh yeah, sarcastic, passive, physically sick, martyr. Yeah, this is my dad. He wasn't always physically sick. Oh, but he was super responsible. He was. There is one thing that I did love about that man. We always had food on the table. We always had a roof over our head. And he did a really good job of making sure that we were secure that way. Emotionally, not so. Okay. But he did a very good job of that. And that's probably because of his codependency. All right. Then, usually, the top person is the family hero. This is usually the firstborn child, the family hero. Now, here's the thing. You see, this says caretaker, right? I call bullshit. What the family hero does is they utilize the problem child or the scapegoat to make them look this way. Okay. In my house, my brother wasn't the caretaker. I was. I raised my little brother and sister. He was always out of the house. He was, now he was a good kid, okay, because he didn't get caught. High achiever, he was. And he still is. Follows rules. Oh yeah, he was a rules. Very responsible. He does seek approval. He has gone on to be he got his master's in child psychology, but to this day, he cannot sit down and do a night step with me. So what does that really tell you, right? So that was my older brother, Scott. Family heroes also try and do things like this. What happened in my house is he would feed information to the codependent who was already mad at me. And eventually, I'm scared of little Dion. And so this codependent over here would take the problem child and kick him out of the house. Right? That's the stuff that happens. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a second just so I can make sure there isn't anything going on. You guys liking this okay? Is it making sense? Would you rather I do other stuff? I'm asking because if enjoying it, I will do more of it. So I'm going to go back to it. Okay, now we're going to talk about the problem child. That's us. That's usually the one or two people that tend to become an alcoholic is either the problem child and or the mascot. Okay. Now the problem child is usually the second born. That was me. Okay. So inside, I felt rejection, hurt, guilty, jealousy, and anger. Oh, yeah. Oh, you bet. Outside, I was hostile, defiant, rule breaking, and in trouble. Now, see, I never really got like into real trouble. I went to court 32 times in a 2-year period just because I was part of the system. It wasn't the fact that I was in any trouble. I hadn't done anything illegal. But you also know there's something else under there. Scapegoat. We're scapegoats. And the family hero will utilize you for that to make themselves look and feel better. Okay? Problem is if the alcoholic sobers up and these other people do not start falling into line, they will disappear. They will disappear out of what their inside stuff is. Right? For the caretaker, that would be guilt, hurt, inadequacy. For the problem child, that ain't gonna be shit because we're too angry. The problem child is almost always going to turn into an alcoholic. Alcoholic is a family disease. We are born with it. Both my mother and father were alcoholic. I had a very good chance of becoming an alcoholic myself. Now, why was I acting out? Because I could not get their attention. That's what I wanted. See, the problem child, we'll share a little. I'm going to stop sharing on that just for a second. See, the problem child also notices things in the family that they'll bring up that the family just does not appreciate. Okay. And I do that to this day. The one thing that my mom wants is for all the kids to be together on Mother's Day. I get it. I understand. But my brothers are not willing to at least get together, try and make an amends so that when we get together, we don't have to have this other bullshit. See, I won't do it. I've cleaned my side of the street. And the last time I invited them over to my house, they were rude. So, then I started having flashbacks this year about how my brother set me up with a lot of, I'm not going to go all the way into it, but he's part of the reason and the lies that he told to keep me under lock and key so he could continue getting away with whatever the fuck he was getting away with. See, if that never heals, he will continue being that person. Okay? Every single one of these types of people have one thing in common. They all need to grow the fuck up. Okay. Let's get to the next one, the lost child. This was my sister. God bless my sister. I love her so much. And has she done a couple of things that have hurt me? Yes, but I don't give a fuck because I love her. Okay. She's always been there for me. She's always listened. She has a big heart and I love her and I treat her differently than my other. Well, you know what? I don't treat any one person the same. So the forgotten child is usually very, very quiet, right? They're usually shy, living a fantasy life. They'll like things like Dungeons and Dragons and video games, very much video games. Mediocre, attaches to things, not people. Okay. Why? Because this forgotten child has been forgotten. She or he has been forgotten. Why? Because the problem child is pulling all their bullshit. Then you got the family hero trying to take care of it, and these two fighting, and he or she's just not saying anything. They're like, I'm going to go into my own little world. Okay. That is just as bad as alcoholism. It can be. That leads us to things like, what's the word I'm looking for? Isolation. Okay. Isolation. Well, I have friends online. That is still isolation. You do not see these people other than your video gaming. You probably don't talk. Okay. The unfortunate part about the lost child is if there's anybody in this whole group that's going to commit suicide, It's the lost child. So when I found this out and I saw that my sister was this, and I knew that information, I made sure I got into her life. And you know what? Now my sister is not shy at all. She will tell you, she will get in your face. She will tell you what's up. Okay? She's changed. She understood. And it's the one sibling that I have on that side of the family that actually changed. The rest of them are just, brush it under the rug. You know, nothing like a master psychologist who brushes their own problems under the rug. Okay. And my two brothers, they get very uncomfortable around me. I'm going to tell you why. Because they know I know better. They know I know better. Chris, I'm sure at some point you met my sister Brandy. She was at my wedding with Delana. Yeah. I'm sure you met her. She went to a lot of my meetings and stuff. Long blonde hair. Like that's going to help. And she was at some of our game nights too with my mom. So, yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, Chris and I used to do game night once a month. We had like 15 people. Those were such fun times. Never Monopoly. We wouldn't do Monopoly. I don't remember what we played, but I do remember no Monopoly. All right, let's get on to the last one, the mascot. Okay. Now the mascot, that would be my littlest brother. All right. And he did things like crawl down the street and bang his head. He always just did weird stuff. And it was usually funny. He's funny to this day. What does that tell you? Okay. This is the family clown. And this person can also become an alcoholic. Remember, problem child, mascot. Both of these have the potential to become alcoholic. So that means you were probably one of these. Maybe. Lost child, they can become an alcoholic. Let's remember it's hereditary. But it seems to usually follow this pattern. Okay. I've not seen the family hero become the alcoholic often. Usually it's the problem child. Why? Well, look at it. They cannot control their own darn emotions, can they? That's what it is. Can't control their emotions. The lost child and the family hero are much better at controlling. So why is the problem child and the mascot having a harder time with it? Because we were born that way. Because we were born that way. So this problem child over here was born mentally different than every single person on this page. The mascot, outside, immature, cute, hyperactive, distracting, fragile, inside, fear, anxiety, security. Yeah, my brother got kicked out of class a lot because he was screwing around. He got a lot of detention because he was screwing around, wanted to be the center of attention. Why was he doing that? Why were we doing all of this? Because we weren't getting it from home. You sound good on my anchor speaker. Ankle speaker? Must be a type of speaker. You too, Ingrid. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. So it is the unregulation of emotions that usually give us a good indicator on whether that child is going to grow up to have problems with drugs and alcohol. I can already see it in my grandson Orson. He doesn't know how to, but he's 2, so we're still, watch it, Dion. What I've noticed with my grandson is this. Still pounding on things. Do you know who else was told that all the time? Do you know who else went to their parents at a very young age and said, "Can I start playing drums?" No. So I'm going to give my grandson my drum set. Yeah. Actually, it's going to be Grandpa and Orson's drum set, right? because I'm gonna want to play it too. Okay? It's an electronic drum set. Nobody's gonna hear shit except him. And you keep it low. You can keep it low through a speaker. But what this will do is teach him, because he has a lot of nervous energy. Drumming's great for nervous energy. Right? It's great for it. So, yeah, I'm going to do that this weekend. Oh, no, I'm not. Fuck, I am. His birthday's next week. Same as it ever was. That's but if I'm sharing it too, that's not really a gift. I'm gonna have to get him something else. All right. Well, now you kind of understand the family dynamics a little bit better. So, and you're gonna start working with people, and you're gonna go, oh man, this is a from the dysfunctional family. This is a scapegoat here. Most of us are the scapegoat. So, let me know if you guys found that informative. If you want me to do more stuff like that, let me know. In the meantime, I'm done for the day. As far as going live and stuff. Actually, I want to end with a little something that, and this is something that I said earlier, but I'm not going to get into it like I did. That recovery, when you go on vacation, recovery goes with you. See, recovery is a way of life. You can't escape it. Okay. So when I hear people say, I'll try and get Zoom on my, people are going out of town. Hey, yeah, I'm headed out to Fort Worth, and I'll try and make the meeting. But there's no internet in Fort Worth. What the fuck's your problem? Okay. I have a rule here. If I'm in a meeting, leave me alone. And I'm usually in one. GPS and Dion don't work at the same. All right, go deliver your pizzas. I love you. I love you. Peace out and have a day.